Another fighter jet has crashed in Russia within a week. This time it was an Su-30. The pilot, Russian Major Viktor Kryukov, was killed. The crash of the Su-30 happened on the 23rd of October in the Russian city of Irkutsk. The Su-30 was performing a test flight when it fell on a two-story wooden building. Luckily there was nobody in the house. But what happened? Why did it crash? According to preliminary data, the pilots lost consciousness during the flight. It is believed that the pilots' oxygen tanks were filled with nitrogen, causing them to lose consciousness. If this is correct, then this happened because human error, because of mix-up of the oxygen and nitrogen tanks, or because somebody wanted Major Kryukov out of the picture and switched the tanks on purpose. Both versions downplay the Russian aviation. There was a small Ukrainian counterattack near Bakhmut. It's a Ukrainian town that Russians have been trying to get for 2 to 3 months now. They have been pushing every day. The Ukrainian counterattack took control all the way up to the highway of E40. This here is Bakhmut, this city here. The Wagner group has been crawling and inching closer to this city 100 meters at a time for the last 2 months. 31st of August, Bakhmut is here and the order comes from Moscow: take this city no matter the cost. So Wagner group has started the mass assaults on this front. This is how it has been going for 2 months straight, every day. So apparently this here is a quarry of some kind. In Telegram they said it's an asphalt factory, but actually it's a quarry. Russians had control over this and it took them a lot of time to establish this control, and Ukrainians pushed them out of the quarry and all the way up to the highway. My friends, I have recorded my first Estonian Soldier podcast with Jake Bro.
We have this one strong
My
leader.
counter to that would be 1917.
But then people were starving.
They murdered the Romanovs. There was a revolution.
Yeah, but people had been starving for years.
It's going to be up on my second channel, which link is in the description below. I'm gonna make podcasts there talking to, for example, Operator Starsky, if he is willing. Go and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in a podcast version. If you want to know more about my personal life, then Instagram is the best way to follow me. Link is also in the description below. And now the time you've all been waiting for. Destroying, annihilating the names of the biggest Patreons. Thank you, Lustex. Thank you, 2VD Mitkhel. Thank you, Koti Jared. Thank you, Erik Lent. And finally, thank you, Taril Kanning. These are the biggest patrons right now. If you like my channel, if you like what I do, Patreon link is in the description below. Thank you, my friends. This next video is one of the most insane battle footage I've seen from Ukraine. Let's watch it. Russian towed artillery convoy runs straight into the Ukrainian tanks. An infantry from 25th Brigade fighting near Kherson. These two units literally headbutt each other. This comes as a surprise for everyone. The Russians drive straight towards them with trucks towing artillery. Russian small arms fire hits the machine gun ammunition box of the tank, and we can witness the explosion, detonation of the rounds inside. Ukrainian gunner switches the ammo box with cooked rounds. The second Russian truck is speeding towards them. There is about 2 squads of Ukrainian infantry immediately to the right of the tank, and they open fire on the truck. We can see the hit marks. Russian artillery shell narrowly misses these infantrymen. A total miracle that nobody was hurt, because shrapnel were flying all over the place. By now, both of the Russian trucks have grinded to a halt and infantry is closing in slowly. The second miracle of this video, the machine gunner is targeted by a sniper, but his heavy machine gun saves his life. Ooh, that was a lot. In this video we have a GoPro footage of a Russian Su-25 pilot whose plane was hit with a man-pad and he ejected. It looks incredible. Let's watch it together. He's flying very low. Now he points the nose up. Boom! He is hit. I think he pointed the nose up because he got the early warning of the missile approaching. He tried to get away from it, but it's still connected. I think the plane auto-ejected him. You can see the fragmentation of the plane here. Everything happened so fast. I think his ejection system activated automatically, saving his life. Suddenly he's dangling and the plane went up in a fireball. This would have been him, but he's alive. Survived the landing. It was pretty tough, as we could hear from his grunt. I mean, what are you gonna do after this? You're flying, you get the early warning missile incoming, your plane explodes, suddenly you're up in the air, now you're down. in the Ukrainian fields, probably surrounded by enemy. What are you gonna do? What runs through your head? He casually walks up and looks around. Nothing left of his plane. And there's another plane. They flew in two always. There's another plane flying away. If he's deep into enemy lines, I don't think they're gonna come and rescue him. If it's just a few clicks, they might send a chopper. He's letting his comrades know that he is alive. Sending a chopper is problematic because as soon as Russia deploys any helicopters in Ukraine, they will be shot down usually. I'm afraid this pilot is on his own. The armed forces of Ukraine struck the base of Chechen TikTok army, somewhere in the Kherson region. The Kadyrovites had just arrived there after being mobilized. At least 40 Kadyrovites were KIA and another 60 were injured. Chechen troops play a very specific role in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. They don't take actively part in battles because they cannot really fight. I think everybody knows this by now. They're put in the rear by Russia as the last defensive lines. They are there to frighten the mobilized Russian troops and the volunteers. They are there to shoot any Russians who retreat. They played a part of the former NKVD in the Second World War in the Soviet lines. Internal control, internal security. Since they are quite bored in the rear, they usually make videos about these fake fights where they just shoot up in the air. They don't usually aim their weapons and they post it on TikTok. That's where they get the name TikTok soldiers. Now the fight has been brought to them. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu recently made 4 phone calls to his counterparts of United States of America, Turkey, United Kingdom and France to inform them of the threat that Ukraine might be preparing to use a dirty bomb. A dirty bomb is a bomb that has radioactive material in it. I will now teach you how to read into the Russian official claims, official statements. You take this statement, for example, you reverse it and pin it to Russia and you get the truth. For example, like this. I will translate what Sergei Shoigu was doing into the truth for you. Russia is having a very difficult time in Ukraine. They are considering the use of a dirty bomb, hope to frighten the Ukrainians and the Western powers by talking about it. This is how I read the Russian statements. You just put a mirror onto it and you get the truth. Connected to the topic, let's watch a clip together from the Russian state TV program. They are having issues finding the guests because yet again they have stumbled upon a guest who speaks the truth, and in an authoritarian state like Russia you cannot do it. It destroys the propaganda immediately.
Эта история с грязной бомбой был вот
Звоним во все
разговор,
колокола.
То есть сначала в субботу Шойгу разговаривал с Остином, причем, насколько я понимаю, американцы звонили, а не мы. Вот. И в воскресенье действительно были разговоры с Лондоном, с Парижем. Как это все? Во что может вылиться, как вы считаете?
So they have this expert, these guests, they have these guests over and they're having difficulty finding the right people for the propaganda machine.
Идет примерно так. Россия инициировала специальную военную операцию, не рассчитала свои силы и уже 8-й месяц не может победить.
И для этого нам
одновременно
надо...
жалуется и обижается на то, что ее противники, те самые страны, которые хотят нейтрализовать Россию и, по сути, расчленить и уничтожить ее, нам не верят, нас не поддерживают и не готовы слышать. Ну, как бы логично.
Ну, мы
что
скорее не жалуемся, а негодуем. Я бы так сказал.
He's already speaking too much truth. He's speaking that Russia cannot win and that they're complaining. You cannot say this in this propaganda show. They've made a mistake picking the guests I've seen.
Потому что они нас не слушали изначально.
Вы знаете, мы можем негодовать сколько угодно. Злиться хоть до посинения. Злиться — это никак не решит наши проблемы.
Мы можем сейчас предотвратить ядерную провокацию или не можем?
Значит, любая провокация, самый лучший путь что-то предупредить и предотвратить — это открыть, рассказать об этом и не только в телефонных беседах с какими-то иностранными лидерами, тем более с лидерами, я сказал, не только, да, с лидерами там государств-противников.
This man is being very brave right now because Russian oligarchs and people have been falling down from windows for lesser stuff than this. He's literally risking his life right now in Russia.
А раскрыть, если есть реальные сведения, реальные доказательства, где эта грязная бомба находится, где ее собирается применить, где документы, показать документы, кто отдает, понимаете, такие вот...
He is demanding documents from the Russian government, actually, stating that Russian government has not published any documents about this dirty bomb, except for these phone calls Shoigu made, calling the bluff, basically, in Russian state TV propaganda show.
Такие провокации без приказов, будь то по...
Ну, как, в общем, было сделано, как было сделано, правда, постфактум с биолабораториями.
Значит,
когда мы их уже заняли, там документы все показали.
Да, но там не было такой смертельной угрозы, которая...
Да, я скажу, даже по ГЭС, по Каховской ГЭС, ни одно военное подразделение не будет выполнять этот приказ, если самого приказа нет. Все это есть. Если у российской военной разведки есть соответствующие данные, то пора их раскрыть.
Константин Валентинович, можно?
The host in the end said another person's name and said, go ahead. He ended this talk. For this person, you cannot speak anymore. With these 2 minutes, he said more truth than anyone else in this show for the next hour. He demanded documents from the Russian government. Where is the dirty bomb? What are you talking about? This entire situation with the Russian propaganda is extremely bizarre. Moscow's ambassador to the United Nations has told the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres that President Putin and his government are contemplating of the use of dirty bomb against Russian forces in Ukraine as the first nuclear strike against Russia. If this is true, then Russia is planning a false flag operation. It would be a nuclear false flag operation against Russian troops in Ukraine. This is all a speculation. Time will tell the answers. A few days ago, Israel attacked an airport in Syria, Damas military airport. The terrorist organization of Hezbollah has used this airport for years now. And Israel had information that this airport was used to transport the goods that Iran needs to put together the kamikaze drone sent to Russia, so Israel destroyed one of the logistic links in making these drones in Iran. This was a few days ago, but yesterday they made another attack to the same airport. So publicly, Israel is not giving any weapons to Ukraine, but they are very much interested in destroying Iran's influence of the area. And through that, one could say Israel is in this conflict. Natural gas price has fallen a lot. And that is because most of European Union's countries have filled up their gas reserves up to 90%. Surviving the winter is guaranteed already. Putin's joker card of freezing the EU in the winter has failed. If the gas price drops like it is doing now, this means billions, yes, billions of USD out of Kremlin's revenues. And the war they're waging against Ukraine is incredibly expensive. So if the gas prices continue to drop, this is a death sentence for the Russian state. Thank you, my friends, for watching. Thank you for staying with me. I urge you to go and subscribe to my second channel, the Estonian Soldier Podcast. I will upload the first broadcast with Jake Bro very soon. Also, if you want to follow my personal life, the Instagram is also in the description below, as well as Patreon. Until my next video, Slava Ukraini.